Speaker, my question is to the Minister of...
Order. The member's own member is trying to ask a question. Allow the member to ask the question. Honourable Clayton Cosgrove.
Mr. Speaker, my question is to the Minister of Corrections and asks, how many meetings or briefings has she attended with Corrections Department officials in regard to the amended 3 strikes policy since it was announced?
Mr. Speaker.
The Honourable Judith Collins.
Mr. Speaker. 8.
The Honourable Clayton Cosgrove.
To the Minister, was her Associate Corrections Minister Dr Peter Sharples in attendance at any of those meetings? If not, why not? And if so, how many?
The Honourable Judith Collins.
Mr. Speaker, no, because Minister Sharples has his own meetings with Corrections because I trust the Associate Minister to have his own meetings. In addition to that, Minister Sharples and I, we meet either every week or every fortnight, depending on our schedules.
Supplementary.
The Honourable Clayton Cosgrove.
To the Minister, why has she deliberately failed to consult with Dr Sharples as Associate Corrections Minister or as co-leader of the Maori Party on this major policy issue, even though that is a direct breach of the confidence and supply agreement between the National Party and the Maori Party?
The Honourable Judith Collins.
Mr. Speaker, perhaps the member didn't hear my answer. Dr Sharples meets with Corrections every week, unless he changes the date, and also he meets with me either every week or every fortnight, depending on our schedules.
David Garrett.
Supplementary to the Minister, is the Minister aware that since last November 4 more people have been killed by persons who would have been in jail and thus unable to kill had the 3 strikes law been in place at the time of their deaths?
Mr. Speaker,
the Honourable Judith Collins.
Mr. Speaker, I wouldn't be at all surprised if that were true. Unfortunately, there is a small but extremely difficult group of recidivist violent offenders who will benefit greatly from the 3 strikes law.
The Honourable Clayton Cosgrove.
To the Minister, considering that official advice on the amended 3 strikes policy is that it will disproportionately affect Maori, does it concern her that her Associate Corrections Minister, who has delegated responsibility for addressing Maori overrepresentation in the criminal justice system, responded to an OIA on 9 February 2010 by saying the following, and I quote, "I can confirm that as the Associate Minister of Corrections, I received no information prior to or following the announcement of the 3 strikes policy by the National and ACT parties on 19 January 2010.
Mr. Speaker,
the Honourable Judith Collins.
Well, Mr. Speaker, Dr Sharples has his own meetings with Corrections. I don't oversee them because I trust him as the Associate Minister. In addition to that, I take offence at a comment that says that Maori need to be overrepresented when actually it's not. Not in my one. No, it's actually, Mr. Speaker, it relates to criminals. It relates to criminals. Yes, criminals will be overrepresented.
I call order. Rahui Katani.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. To the Minister, what response has she made to Treasury advice warning against net widening, cautioning that mandatory sentencing policies tended to expand over time, and signalling uncertainty about how this 3 strikes legislation would be used?
Judith Collins.
Speaker, Treasury gives a lot of very good advice, and I think that's just one of the pieces of advice that the government has taken into account. And of course, the matter is before the Select Committee, and no doubt they will come back with some recommendations.
The Honourable Clayton Cosgrove.
To the Minister, does she consider it problematic for the Associate Minister of Corrections to be, quote, appalled, unquote, by the policy that the Department of Corrections is the co-lead agency on, and to describe the policy as, quote, irrational and extreme, unquote, as he did in a media release of 20 January 2010?
The Honourable Judith Collins.
Mr Speaker, no, I'm not at all appalled by Dr Sharple's comments because I know that they are honestly held. However, I will say to that member that Corrections is not the co-lead agency, and as a member of the Select Committee dealing with this bill, he should know it. In fact, the lead agency is police.
Call Melissa Lee.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. Supplementary question to the Minister of Corrections. What is this government doing to rehabilitate offenders who have been sent to prison for serious offences, as well as those who will be sentenced under the new policy?
Mr Speaker.
The Honourable Judith Collins.
Mr Speaker, quite a lot. I've visited many prisons and I've seen for myself the rehabilitation programs that we've got in place. These include alcohol and drug treatment units, prisoner employment training covering a wide range of industries and skills, specialist rehabilitative programs and units targeting particular offender groups. We are doubling the amount of drug and alcohol treatment available to prisoners under a national-led government, something the Labor government could never do.
Point of order, the Honourable Clayton Cosgrove.
Mr Speaker, I seek leave to table an Official Information Act response from the Honourable Dr Peter Sharples dated 9 February 2010 in which he confirms that, quote, he received no information prior to or following the announcement of the three strikes policy by the National ACT parties, unquote.
Thank you. Leave is sought for that purpose. Is there any objection? There is no objection. The Honourable Clayton Cosgrove.
I seek leave to table the CAB 100 form for the amended three strikes policy cabinet paper signed by the Police and Corrections Minister Judith Collins, showing that the proposal had not been discussed with, nor was there any intention to discuss
for that purpose.
with the
Is there any
Maori
objection?
Party.
There is no objection. Point of order, the Honourable Clayton
Sir, I raise a point of order in respect of the answer to the primary question. Sir, I'm not contesting the answer. In fact, I'm very grateful for the Minister answering it. She answered 8 when she was asked how many briefings she had. So I'm not contesting that answer, sir. What I would ask for, and not today but a considered ruling by you, is on...
Yes, look, points of order are held in silence. The member has the floor. I'm giving him the opportunity to state his point of order.
Thank you, sir. My point is this, that on many occasions we have asked this Minister and other Ministers in written questions exactly the same question: how many briefings, how many visits, how many meetings, etc. And the answer, particularly from this Minister, is basically, I'm not wasting my time answering the question. Yet when the same or similar questions are put to her in the House, sir, where there is public scrutiny, she quite rightly and properly answers them. My question is this: could you consider in writing, sir, whether we have to waste our time making oral questions when there should be indeed some consistency and a Minister should answer in the same fashion as they answer in the House?
Look, I will take advice on that and I will get back to you on that matter. We come to question number 5.